Have you ever found yourself scrolling through social media or just looking at someone else's life and thinking, man, if only I had that? It's that nagging little voice, right? The one that tells you the grass is definitely greener on the other side. Well, that's the comparison trap, and let me tell you, it is a master thief of joy. So today we're going to tear this whole thing down, and we're going to find a really powerful, surprisingly modern solution in a very ancient story.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on what this trap actually is. Then, we're going to jump back in time and see it play out in the incredible story of two sisters. We'll look at the seriously high price of their envy, the consequences of their choices, and, this is the best part, we'll wrap up with real practical ways you can find genuine contentment in your own life.
So let's dive right in. Let's talk about that feeling. You know the one? That deep-seated conviction that somebody else has it all figured out, that their life is just better. The author of the source material we're looking at today, Kerry-Ann Barrett, kicks things off with this. I mean, how honest is that? She talks about admiring this one woman who just seemed to have it all, the perfect family, the amazing career. And next to that picture, she felt like her own life just wasn't adding up.
But here's the kicker. Sometime later, that very same woman told the author that she was an inspiration to her. Just let that sink in for a second. While one person is busy wishing they had someone else's life, that other person might be looking right back wishing they had what the first person has. And that, right there, is how comparison just quietly slips in and steals our joy.
So it turns out this very modern problem isn't modern at all, not even close. To really get to the heart of it, we're going to dig into a timeless story from the book of Genesis, the story of two sisters, Leah and Rachel. And trust me, their rivalry is just as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago.
And it all starts with this one simple description that basically sets the whole stage for their conflict. The Bible says Leah was tender-eyed, which most people take to mean she was kind of plain. Her sister Rachel, on the other hand, was beautiful and well-favored. So right from the get-go, one is defined by her beauty and the other by, well, the lack of it.
Okay, so the story gets messy and fast. A guy named Jacob falls head over heels for Rachel and agrees to work for her dad for 7 years to marry her. But on the wedding night, he gets tricked. He ends up married to the older sister, Leah. So to finally get to marry Rachel, the woman he actually loves, he has to work another 7 years. It's this heartbreaking setup that creates the ultimate rivalry, with Leah stuck as the unloved wife, always living in her gorgeous sister's shadow.
And this is where that cycle of comparison turns really toxic. Because in this painful situation, each sister becomes completely obsessed with what the other one has, and they become totally blind to their own blessings.
And here it is, the absolute core of their tragedy. The Bible says that because Leah was unloved, God opened her womb and blessed her with children. But all she really, truly wanted was her husband's love. Meanwhile, Rachel had all of Jacob's love, his complete devotion. But the one thing she desperately wanted was children, just like her sister. You see, for both of them, the grass was always, always greener somewhere else. You can literally feel Leah's pain in the names she gives her sons. Her first, Reuben, means see, a son, like she's pleading, Jacob, look at me now. Her second, Simeon, means one who hears, because God heard that she was hated. And her third, Levi, means attached, because she was hoping that now, finally, her husband would become attached to her. She's receiving these incredible blessings, but her whole focus is still on what she doesn't have.
But then, with her fourth son, something big changes. She names him Judah, which means praise, and the source material highlights this as the turning point. It's the moment she finally stops trying to earn a man's approval and just turns her focus to God. And right there, in that shift, she finds the strength to step out of that toxic competition.
Meanwhile, Rachel's envy is just eating her alive. She has her husband's love, but seeing her sister have baby after baby is just a constant torment. Her jealousy gets so bad that she actually says these words to Jacob, that her life feels meaningless, like she might as well be dead, without the one thing her sister has.
So you can see where this is going, right? When comparison and envy get this intense, things escalate. The rivalry between these sisters is about to spiral out of control, pulling other people into their drama and pushing them to make choices that have some really serious consequences.
So in her desperation, Rachel gives her servant, Bilhah, to Jacob to have children for her by proxy. But when Bilhah has 2 sons, Leah sees this, and not wanting to lose this horrible competition, she gives her servant, Zilpah, to Jacob too. Their private pain has now exploded into this full-blown family feud, and they're using other women as pawns in their game. It's a total mess.
And you know, this whole situation can stir up a feeling that might be pretty familiar. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're trying so hard to do the right thing, to play by the rules, and yet you look over and see someone else who seems to be cutting corners and they're getting exactly what you've been praying for? It's so frustrating.
This prayer from the source material just perfectly captures that feeling of being completely worn out. It's that moment where you just cry out and you feel so overlooked, and you start to wonder if God is even listening anymore. It's a feeling that can really tempt you to just take matters into your own hands. And taking matters into their own hands had very real consequences. Later in the story, when the whole family is facing a life-or-death threat, Jacob arranges his camp so that the handmaids and their children are placed in the very front, the most dangerous position. And the source argues this is a powerful picture for us. When we step outside of God's plan to get what we want, we can actually lose a layer of divine protection. It's a serious warning against buying into the perfect, easy image that other people might be showing.
Okay, so we've seen this incredibly destructive cycle in action. The big question is, how do we stop it from happening in our own lives? Let's bring it all home and pull out the key lessons from this story so we can actually find real contentment. All right, so here's the antidote to comparison. First, we have to actively fight envy and instead choose gratitude for what we do have. Second, we've got to focus on our own purpose, our own calling. Remember, Jacob found Rachel when she was busy working for her father. And finally, it's about trusting the process and the timing, knowing that staying inside that divine plan offers its own kind of protection. So how do we actually do that? It's pretty simple, really. 3 steps. First, physically make a list of everything that's going right in your life, big or small, and just say thank you. Second, write down your dreams and goals and then ask for help to get there. And third, and this one takes courage, be honest. Is there anyone you're jealous of? Name it, acknowledge it, and then make a conscious choice to let that feeling go.
Ultimately, it all boils down to this. Leah's misery came because she put her husband's approval in the place that only God should have. Rachel's came from putting children there. Anytime we make another person, an achievement, or a possession our ultimate source of worth, we're setting ourselves up to self-destruct. Real contentment, real peace, it's found in a much higher place.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. Right now, today, what amazing blessings in your own life might you be completely blind to, simply because your eyes are fixed on someone else's pasture?